Alright guys, welcome back to another Zone Zero update video on the channel. So today we'll be going over the last character kit that I haven't covered yet, which is MANATO. MANATO, surprisingly, the new A rank from the 2.3 version update, causing a lot of commotion for him being A rank. But for this video, let's see what his kit is all about, as a new A rank fire RUPTURE character set to come out in the first phase of the 2.3 version update. And who knows, maybe MANATO is actually going to be on par with other S ranks. We'll see from the brand new full kit details of this character. And if you guys also want to be kept updated with all the latest news or more kit details in the next few weeks, as they always like to do some last minute kit changes, then feel free to like the video, subscribe, put those notifications on to be kept updated with all the latest Zenless news. But alright, let's get right into it. First thing we have here are the Ascension materials and the talent level up materials. So for those who want to screenshot that, save that for later to prepare for MANATO coming out at a later date, feel free to do so. But now let's read over his actual kit. So now we're now at the basic attack. His basic attack is perform up to 3 slashes forward, dealing physical damage. And during the special attack, you can even press the special attack to trigger ignition, causing this attack to deal additional fire damage and restore 5% of max HP. Him being a RUPTURE character, we can definitely expect him to work on HP. Same thing as Yadari and Lucia. It seems we have a full RUPTURE update for 2.3, which is pretty nice. Now we have the basic attack ignition status, perform up to 4 consecutive slashes forward, dealing fire damage. Upon activating the skill, if Komoto MANATO's HP is above 30%, consume 2.5 of max HP to increase crit damage by 60% and adrenaline recovery rate by 300%. 60% is quite a lot, and that's not even from his core passive and additional ability, so he's already looking quite good just from his basic attack alone. Now the multipliers, again, I won't go over this as they tend to do a lot of multiplier changes, so I'll most likely do these in a separate video in a few weeks from now once we get the official multipliers. Alright, next up we have the dodge. The dodge looking pretty standard, it deals fire damage, and the dodge counter nothing too crazy, so I'm gonna skip over this one. Now another interesting part of his kit, which is the special attack. So we have the base one is slash forward to deal fire damage to enemies, and then if attacked by enemies during the skill, he will start restoring lost HP, and when using this skill, his damage is reduced by 40% and anti-interruption level is increased as well. The special attack ignite, MANATO enters a charging state, consuming up to 10% max HP and restores 100 points fire. HP can be consumed up to 30% of max HP, and release special attack when button is released if hit by enemy during this skill. Same thing as last time, he recovered HP. Then here we have the EX special attack. While ignite, you can jump, perform a falling slash on enemies ahead, dealing massive fire damage, so this is going to hit pretty hard. And additionally, upon activating the skill, he will restore 40% max HP, which is pretty good. Alright, now moving on to the chain attack. So the chain attack throws their sword and charges at enemies to trigger an explosion, dealing massive fire damage. The ultimate, jump and unleash a falling slash at enemies ahead, following by an explosion, dealing massive fire damage. So we don't have anything too in detail about the chain attack or ultimate. Definitely compared to characters like Lucia and Yadari, those two had some pretty long ultimates which did many things. Alright, now for the quick assist, however, seems to be a little more interesting than usual. We have the assist follow-up, which is performing multiple slashes against enemies in front, dealing fire damage. You can even repeatedly press to continue slashing enemies, and during the continuous slashing, if MANATO's HP is above 30%, consume 5% of max HP to increase crit damage by 60% and adrenaline recovery rate by 40%. Now one thing I want to see is go back to the basic attack if this does stack with the other 60%. So the basic attack, upon activating the skill, if his HP is above 30%, he will gain 60% crit damage. And now going back to the assist follow-up, during the continual slashing, if his HP is above 30%, crit damage by 60%. So it seems that he will be getting 120% crit damage from the assist follow-up and the basic attack effect. Unless they specify that it doesn't stack, it seems that it will stack because it's 2 different effects and 2 different activations. So if that does end up being the case, that'll be pretty good. That would help his stats by a lot. Now the core passive, So his core passive is Komato MANATO gains additional sheer force based on his max HP, increasing sheer force by 0.1% for every 1 point of max HP. All fire damage dealt by MANATO's skill becomes sheer damage, very similar to what Idari does. She also converts her ice damage into sheer, so they basically do the same thing on that front. And now, on top of that, MANATO will ignore enemy defense and using sheer force as a damage multiplier. When MANATO uses special attack, he accumulates fire up to 100 points. When fire reaches 75 points, MANATO enters Ignite state until heat is depleted. When Ignite, MANATO basic attack is enhanced, can trigger EX special attack, and while Ignite, MANATO's sheer force increases by 300% and crit damage increased by 20%. Sheer force increased by 300%, that is pretty high. And of course, just another crit damage for fun. So far he's getting 20% there, another 60% from the assist follow-up, and another 60% crit damage from the basic attack effect. So we have a total already of 140% crit damage increase. That is going to be pretty insane for his overall damage. And lastly, we have the additional ability. When another Rupture or Fire character is in your squad, MANATO's HP decreases, increases the whole squad crit damage by 20% for 30 seconds, and this will buff himself as well. So we're now at 160% crit damage, and keep in mind he's going to be doing sheer damage, converting his fire damage into sheer, ignoring enemy defenses, and the sheer force increases by 300% while he's in the Ignite state. So outside of the Ignite state, he won't be doing that much damage, but once he is in this state, his damage is going to skyrocket, and for a brief moment of time, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. So far I'm quite impressed with his kit. And then we have his Mindscape, so let's read it over, it's not going to be too long. And another thing is that he's an A rank, so getting all these Mindscapes are going to be a lot easier than S rank, so let's see what this is. The Mindscape 1 increases HP by 50%, and MANATO's HP drops below 50%. He will recover 50% HP. This effect can trigger once every 30 seconds, so basically a auto recovery once he drops below 50% every 30 seconds. And while off field, he also recovers passive HP to 1.5% of max HP per second. So pretty good. Then we have the Mindscape 2. While ignited, MANATO's ignore 10% of target's fire res. When off field, he recovers another 1.5% of max HP per second. So with the Mindscape 1 and 2, he will be gaining 3% max HP per second off field. Then we have the Mindscape 3, nothing crazy. Mindscape 4, special attack when hit by enemy attacks during activation. Offensive assist for every 1% of MANATO's HP reduced. Offensive assist and basic attack damage increased by 0.3% up to a max increase of 21%. So more damage, pretty good. And lastly, the Mindscape 6. When activating defensive assist, MANATO recovers 75 fire and in the ignited state also deals fire damage equal to 1000% of MANATO's sheer force to the target and increases the whole squad damage by 50%. That is a pretty solid Mindscape 6. Will give him more damage and at the same time will allow him to buff the whole team, including himself. So in total, he should be looking like a really good A rank. I know a lot of players were not happy with him being A rank, but he seems almost as good as the S rank. But the unfortunate part is this is still early info and is subject to change, so if he is overtuned, they will end up nerfing him quite a lot. But yeah guys, that is the full MANATO kit info for today's video. Let me know down below, are you guys hyped for the 2.3 version update with all of these characters? And if you want to check out the full kit info for Yadari and Lucia, feel free to check out my latest videos. But that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.